My NBA fans was good. Here to react. I think this is my first time actually reacting to an NBA video. First of all, how y'all doing? Fonda Reese, if you don't know. Huge NBA fan. Love the game of basketball. One of the bigger YouTube basketball channels, the homie Bsolz, just recently put out a video called the 50 best players in the NBA. Now I've seen him tweet about it. Pretty sure there's toxic people, what the fuck? There's toxic people on the internet, and a lot of people been trashing him for this, and I don't know what the list looked like. I haven't seen it, so I said, why not react to it? Let's do a reaction so y'all can see me react to it, see how I feel about it. Maybe he'll see it, reach out, say, hey, what's up? Saw your reaction, it was cool. So we'll see. Some people take lists like this too far. I'm not that kind of person. Let me not speak too soon. But yeah, let's check this out, man. Bsolz top 50 best players in the NBA. Let's get it.
As another NBA season comes to a close, it has everyone reevaluating the NBA landscape and where certain players rank. As subjective as it is, these conversations are just commonplace in our community, and as I do every single year, it is time for me to do my own top 50 list. Now I know, I can't please everyone, and that's okay. That's okay. It's my list. Hope y'all enjoyed the show, but just a couple of disclaimers before we start. Number one, I can't rank Klay Thompson. This list is assuming everyone is fully healthy, but I just can't rank Klay Thompson when I haven't seen him for 2 straight seasons. I just can't. Also, I highly encourage y'all to focus more on the tiers players belong in rather than the actual order itself, because I understand that a lot of these spots are extremely debatable. Also, just keep in mind, if there are 2 players and one is at the end of a tier and another is at the beginning of another, that probably still means they're interchangeable even if I have them in 2 different tiers.
Is gonna be
but with that being said, let's start it off, man. Let's start it off 50 through 41. At number 50, we have Fred VanVleet. 49, Michael Porter Jr. 48, Miles Turner. 47, Ben Simmons. 46, Pascal Siakam. 45, Tobias Harris. 44, Draymond Green. 43, CJ McCollum. 42, Malcolm Brogdon. And 41, DeMar DeRozan. So let's just talk about the elephant in the room when it comes to this part of the list, and that is Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is 47 on my list. Ben Simmons just last year was still in conversations for being a top 20 player in the league because of his impact on a lot of areas when it comes to basketball. But let's just stop, man. Let's just stop. Enough is enough. While yes, when you analyze his game, you can really see that his only weakness is shooting. But every single year, it has become the downfall of his team. To say that Ben Simmons' only weakness is shooting is really undermining the importance of shooting / scoring the basketball and what that means for the limitations of the lineups and scenarios Ben Simmons can succeed in. So let's just come to the reality that Ben Simmons was just never as good as we thought he was. And if I am proven wrong in the next year or two, then I will say I am wrong, but until then, Ben Simmons to me is at 47. But anyways, let's talk about the other notable names in this part of the list. Michael Porter Jr. cracks the top 50 for the first time after a season where he averaged 19 points and 7 rebounds while shooting 54% from the field and 45% from 3, while his production didn't slip too bad in the playoffs as well. CJ McCollum is a player that moved down a decent amount to me, as his deficiencies as a defender just keep on getting more and more detrimental to his team's success. Malcolm Brogdon also finds himself in the top 50 after a season where he averaged 21, 6, and 5 on some really good shooting splits. Now let's move on to 40 to 31. At number 40, we have De'Aaron Fox. 39, LaMelo Ball. 38, Kyle Lowry. 37, Brandon Ingram. 36, Nikola Vucevic. 35, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. 34, John Morant. 33, Domantas Sabonis. 32, Julius Randle, and 31, Russell Westbrook. Call me crazy, man, but I am really high on LaMelo Ball. Unfortunately, the Charlotte Hornets were not able to make the playoffs last year, primarily due to LaMelo Ball suffering an injury in the middle of the season. But what LaMelo showed us after he was given the keys as a starter was phenomenal. To give y'all some perspective, in that stretch, LaMelo Ball averaged roughly 20 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds, 2 steals, and had shooting splits of 46% from the field, 43% from 3, and 81% from the line.
Definitely
also comparing it to my list in November, Ja Morant climbed up a lot on my list as well, primarily due to what he showed in the playoffs. If you look at Ja Morant's regular season, you can actually make a case that he played worse than his rookie year, but I just can't ignore what he did in the playoffs. Against one of the best defenses in the league, and against a team with the best regular season record, Ja Morant in the first round averaged 30 points, 8 assists, and 4 rebounds on 49% shooting from the field, and that's just insane. Also comparing it to my list in November, Russell Westbrook moved down a decent amount as well, as before he was in the top 20 and now he is at 31. And that's primarily due to the fact that, in my opinion, he had a very up and down season in Washington. And for the most part, when you look at the season overall, he just wasn't that good, even compared to his last season in Houston. Kyle Lowry is a player that actually moved down a lot to me, but to be completely honest, Kyle Lowry moving down this much is more so a matter of other players just getting better than it is a knock on Kyle Lowry. And I guess I don't want to spoil the next 10 too much, but this does mark the end of the first tier of this list, or last tier, depending on how you look at it. I feel like this tier consists of players who are undoubtedly good star level players in the league, however either have glaring weaknesses in their game, are more built to be third options on contending teams, or just haven't proven enough to move higher on this list. Now let's move on to the top 30. At 30 we have Jamal Murray, 29 Rudy Gobert, 28 Bam Adebayo, 27 Drew Holiday, 26 DeAndre Ayton, 25 Jaylen Brown, 24 Chris Middleton, 23 Zion Williamson, 22 Karl Anthony Towns, and 21 Bradley Beal. This is where the extremely talented players who haven't won much meets the players who have proven to be consistent second options on some really good playoff teams. After the championship run they just had, I just had to put some more respect on Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton. These are players that may not have the same name value of some other players in even this part of the list, but they literally just proved to me that they can at the very least,
but like
be a second or third option on a championship caliber team, and actually were that on a championship winning team. As far as my DeAndre Ayton placement, you know, honestly, that could bite me later down the line as a recency bias pick, but I truly do believe that DeAndre Ayton's ability to be a really effective pick and roll big while having a scoring repertoire that's just not putbacks and lay-ins at the efficiency he's doing it as well is a separator to me between the likes of a Rudy Gobert or a Bam Adebayo. And I haven't even talked about his defensive capabilities as well. Also, despite Jaylen Brown being 4 spots away from players like Devin Booker, Trae Young, and Bradley Beal, I do believe that the order I decided to go with makes it seem like he's not, but I truly do believe he is in that class of players. And now we get into the top 20. At number 20 we have Trae Young, 19 Devin Booker, 18 Zach Lavine, 17 Jimmy Butler, 16 Chris Paul, 15 Kyrie Irving, 14 Paul George, 13 Donovan Mitchell, 12 Jason Tatum, and 11 Damian Lillard. So let's talk about it. Devin Booker and Trae Young moved up tremendously to me after the playoff runs that they just had. We already knew that they were really talented players, and they had the numbers to back it up, but for them to go out there in the playoffs and be pivotal parts to some really deep playoff runs was all the validation I needed for me to move them up this high. And a guy that I am willingly jumping the gun on, and I'll die on this hill until I'm proven otherwise, is Zach Lavine, and how I believe Zach Lavine is just as good as these guys despite not winning as much as them last year. Let me just remind you guys that Zach Lavine just came off a year where he averaged 27, 5, and 5 on insane 51, 42, 85 splits. In terms of scoring the basketball, those are Kevin Durant, Steph Curry-esque splits. Those are insane. But also as a community, if we were able to turn our heads more on the empty stats moniker that were given to Trae Young and Devin Booker because they were able to win when given the right pieces, I don't know why we can't also make that same leap for Zach Lavine and why we have to wait until he's put in that position instead of just making that claim right now. Donovan Mitchell rose a significant amount on my list as well. Number one, don't ever tell me Rudy Gobert is the best player on the Jazz. Stop. It's Donovan Mitchell's team. I don't know why we've been
I don't think
overthinking
Donovan
it too
Mitchell
much.
is that much
It's
better than
Donovan
Devin
Mitchell's
Booker.
team. Jimmy Butler to me moved down a decent amount too after having a horrendous playoff series
can't
against the
agree that
Bucks
Donovan
in the
Mitchell is
first
that
round
much
this year.
better
He's still a great player. I'm
than
not
Devin
gonna say
Booker.
he's trash or anything like that, but I do think
Or
in
Trae Young.
retrospect we did
I gotta
overrate him
stick-
a little bit
but-
after the 2020
Yeah, I
playoffs.
can't agree that
It is
Donovan
what it
Mitchell
is.
is that
It is
much
what it
better
is.
than
But now
Devin
let's
Booker or Trae Young.
get into my top 10.
I will put
man.
him in that
Let's get
class
into my
with
top
Zach,
10.
Devin Booker,
At
and
number
Trae
10
Young.
we have Anthony Davis. Number 9 Joel Embiid.
That's too much of a gap for
Number
me.
8 James Harden. Number 7 Nikola Jokic. Number 6 Luka Doncic. Number 5 Stephen Curry. Number 4 LeBron James. Number 3 Kawhi Leonard. Number 2 Kevin Durant. And number 1 Giannis Antetokounmpo. Here we are, man, my top 10 players in the league, and honestly my full top 50 list is right in front of your eyes, assuming everyone is healthy aside from Klay Thompson, like I mentioned in the beginning of this video. Look, I just want to say this.
I'm moving AD
I
out
think
the
in
top
all
10.
of my years watching the NBA and even studying the NBA landscape before
Yeah, I said it.
I started watching the NBA, I don't think the gap between the 10th best player in the league and the best player in the league has ever been this small. Let me just remind you guys that Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic, who I have at 7 and 9, were the 2 prime candidates for the MVP this year, with Jokic actually winning it. James Harden at some point this year was also in MVP conversations and was considered the best player on the Nets at some point, with KD playing on the same team. Anthony Davis, the last time we saw him fully healthy, was an arguable finals MVP and averaged 28 and 10 throughout that whole playoff run on 57, 38, 83 splits. These are the type of players we have at the back end of this top 10, and I would like to think that if I ask y'all feedback on this top 10, that a majority of y'all would actually agree with the general order of this list, and the fact that Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid, Anthony Davis, and James Harden are more so in the 5 to 10 range than they are in the actual top 5. Now, I will say a big part of this order is primarily given the benefit of the doubt to what transpired just this year in the playoffs. But I'm telling you right now, these guys are all really close in my opinion. The only real distinction I made between tier 1 and tier 2 is that I believe the players in tier 1 actually have a legitimate argument for being the best player in the world, while the players in tier 2 have the talent to do so, but just don't really have an argument right now. But let's talk about the elephant in the room.
That makes sense.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room, because for the last 4 or 5 years, the conversation for the best player in the world has primarily been LeBron James, Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant, and Kawhi Leonard.
No, it's
and
just
right
been
now,
LeBron James.
as you can see on your screen,
don't do the Steph shit. Come
I
on,
have
bro.
one Giannis Antetokounmpo as the best player in the world.
I think that's a lot of recency
If you
bias.
walked up to me and said KD's better or Kawhi's better, I would not give you that much pushback.
Okay.
I just won't. I'd give a little bit more pushback if you came up to me and said LeBron and Steph are better right now. But even then, I see it. But if you ask me what Giannis needed to do to prove that he is the best player in the world, he did it. Yes, were there circumstances that may have aided him to get to the finals? Yes. But based off of the path he was given, the circumstances he was dealt with, he performed just as well as you can ask, if not
Absolutely.
more. Before we talk about the playoffs, let's talk about his regular season, because honestly, it's just been swept under the rug because he won the MVP the last 2 years, and there was a lot of voter fatigue. But in the regular season, Giannis averaged 28 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists while shooting 57% from the field, playing all defensive first team caliber defense, and led the Bucks to the 3rd seed in the Eastern Conference.
Oh, look at the tween.
And then he comes into the playoffs and elevates his performance from that already insane regular season, as he averaged 30 points, a playoff leading 13 rebounds a game, accompanied by 5 assists, while again shooting 57% from the field throughout that whole run, and more specifically in the NBA Finals against a Phoenix Suns team who in the regular season had a record on pace to win 58 games and had the 3rd best defense in the playoffs and was just on a roll going into the finals. Giannis against that team in the finals averaged 35, 13, and 5 on 62% shooting from the field, played all-time great defense, came back from a 2-0 deficit, and dropped 50 points, 14 rebounds, and 5 blocks in the closeout game. And mind you, I don't want this to get swept under the rug, But this is in a season where he chose to stay in Milwaukee instead of attempting to form a super team like KD, Kawhi, LeBron, and Steph have done at some point in their career. That is why Giannis, to me, as of July 22, 2021, is the best player in the NBA. But again, that can easily change.
I get the argument. I think there's a lot of
So there you
recency
have it. This is my
bias on
top
this
50 list. Go crazy in the comment section, man. Go crazy. If anything, I encourage y'all to go crazy in the comment section. Get my engagement up. Get my engagement up. But with that being said, I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and I'm out. Peace.
Let's go back a bit. Let's go back a bit because I want to actually get a good look at this list. Let me pause this. Oh, come on, bro. Fuck. Let me pause this for a bit. There we go. Okay. So first of all, shout out to Bsolz. Great video. I'm pretty sure it took a lot to make this top 50 list. I don't really understand why people are trashing him so much, but NBA fans and Twitter people are fucking weird. So again, shout out to him for the list. Dope video. Some stuff I personally don't agree with. I don't agree that Donovan Mitchell is basically 6 spots ahead of Devin Booker. I think it's much closer than that. I don't agree that he's 7 spots ahead of Trae Young. I think they're all in that same range. Him, Zach Lavine, Devin Booker, Trae Young, even maybe a Bradley Beal. I know there's a lot of recency bias, but I don't agree with Ayton. I'm not going to say the Ayton out of bio thing because it's only 2 spots, but he's 10 spots ahead of Nikola Vucevic. I personally don't agree with that. I think Nikola Vucevic is very underrated, probably the most underrated center in the entire NBA. Next to DeMontis Sabonis, if you want to consider him a center. But yeah, I personally don't agree with that either. I'm not going to nitpick the top 10. I will have Dame over AD, but it's right there. I'm not gonna be a dick about it. I'm trying to see if there's anything. Not necessarily. I don't know, man. Ben Simmons at 47 is crazy, but looking at his list, I'm not really sure who I will move up and down to get Ben Simmons higher. So I don't know. Besides the Donovan Mitchell thing and the DeAndre Ayton thing, for the most part, I agree with the list. I mean, I'm not going to say I agree 100% like this would be my list, but I agree to the point where I'm not really going to give you much kickback on this list. I think it's a pretty solid top 50. Obviously, there's some recency bias, but that's expected considering the finals just ended last week. So, well, this week actually. So, yeah, shout out to Bsolz, dope video. Let me know how you feel about his top 50 in the comment section below. Link to the original video will be in the description just so you can go check it out for yourself without my commentary. But yeah, like I said, leave a like on the video, man. Make sure you check his video out and leave a like. I'm the small channel promoting his, but still, I'm showing love. So comment section below. Let me know how you feel about the top 50 list, what you like, what you didn't like, who would you put in, who would you take out, what would you move where. Subscribe to the channel and ding the notification bell. And I will see y'all later. Peace.